All right. Friends, family, whoever may be watching this, I'm going to read from a post that's going to be coming out on Monday, November 30th, around 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. I wrote this today because I haven't posted to my blog in some time, and I've been wanting to dip my toe back into the YouTube crowd. I've been doing a podcast for about a year now, a little over a year, and I've gone through such a big transformation in that time. Over the past few months, since COVID started, there was a lot going on, and I wanted to take the time to address things that have been on my mind. It's a big swing from where I was, and if you listen to my podcast from when it started to where I am now, it's much different. And it's so different, in fact, that I've taken 3 weeks to post my latest episode because I'm afraid of how it will come across. I know that no matter what I do, I'll lose friends in the battle or the wake of all this. But I'm putting this out as a way to let people know that I'm not beyond reproach. I'm not beyond a good conversation, understanding. And I'm hoping that by reading this to people that maybe you'll understand a little bit more where I'm coming from and how I feel like we've lost a lot in the past 10, now 11 months of this. So I'll begin reading. Growth. What is growth without some pain and suffering? The Marines say that pain is just weakness leaving the body. I've thought about this a lot recently. I've also stumbled across the slogan in various places around the internet and in real life. I've had many painful moments in the past few months at the hand of many that I once called friends. And still do. I ask that those following along should keep an open mind. None of what I have to say is definitive. None of this defines me completely, as I am an ever-evolving being trying to make sense of a chaotic world. They are my opinions, and they don't represent anyone else but myself. Shortly after COVID started, all of our lives were shaken up like the glitter in a snow globe. Like the glitter, I found myself just aimlessly floating in a madhouse of vitriolic headlines regarding the president, COVID, racism, xenophobia, all the isms and phobias. I was having trouble understanding certain things, circumstances. I wasn't fully understanding white privilege, and when it was explained to me, it just seemed wrong. I couldn't have an opinion on a topic because I lacked some sort of experience, even though up until this point, I'd have 34 years of experience. Vitriolic headlines turned out to be above the fold marketing rubbish, with the full story revealing a much different story. Thus began my journey into the rabbit hole. As the title implies, I found that there were many rules for others that didn't apply to the angry mob. Over the past few months, I've gone from progressive 30-something to centrist libertarian. I'll be clear that I don't believe too much in a larger agenda for either side, because that would make me a conspiracy theorist. But I do believe that people's goodwill is guiding them down a path that they don't fully understand. I started asking questions to people, albeit a little rushed at times, but I was trying to understand why people were ignoring and marginalizing voices like Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, and many other conservative voices. What they said was most definitely presented in a very direct way, but they were hardly the Nazi, white supremacist homophobes that people made them out to be. They, from where I sat, and still do, seemed to bring real facts to the table. The Change My Mind segment seemed to do what so many people refuse to do. Just talk. Shapiro's talks with the Youth America Foundation were most definitely brash, but he laid out his positions rationally and without marginalization. When I looked at how they were talked about and how they were talked to on social media, talk shows, and conferences, it was clear that the liberals were much less tolerant than the conservatives they so furtively fought to snuff out. Therein lied the rub. From all angles, I was seeing Democrats and liberals trying to silence people. For a time, this seemed right to me in my progressive nature, until I started seeing how time after time these conservative voices were met with such hate by constantly getting shut down or attempted to be shut down. Yet they continued, the conservatives, to ask people to with conflicting and opposing viewpoints to go to the front of their Q&A line. They wanted to have a discussion. I wasn't seeing this from the Democrats and liberals. Why? As I began reading and watching more, I noticed a pattern. Organizations like the Young Turks, CNN, Mother Jones, and the likes seem to operate from a position of pure emotion. They played an identity politics game that divided people based on race, sex, gender, orientation, etc. When they were stuck in a corner, they resorted to mob tactics of shouting down the opposition rather than rationalizing their position effectively. My questions, as I posed them on Facebook and a few other places, were generally met with anger and an assumption that I was a Trump supporter. Bringing up good policy meant that I'd follow the orange man to the ends of the earth. No one wanted to discuss these hard topics. The narrative was orange man bad. If you didn't follow this, you easily had been labeled some sort of sympathizer, homophobe, sexist, or racist. I couldn't escape the name calling and accusations no matter how neutral I tried to remain. The objective truth was dead. No matter how valid the data was for my position, people shouted me down with the "how dare yous" and the "you're being radicalized" platitudes. Being informed or listening to people with diverse opinions, or those who allowed such opinions to be heard, i.e. Joe Rogan, was now considered taboo. Why? I started recollecting my history of news consumption. I realized the echo chamber I'd kept myself in, with hearing only things that I wanted to hear, was damaging. What good does that do? What do we learn from not understanding the opposition? I asked myself why I hated Trump so bad. Was it grounded in anything legitimate? Or was I just following the masses over some shitty comments he made years prior? Why wasn't I focused on the policy? I'm not here to change anyone's mind, but rather openly state that I've asked these questions and I've discovered that the truth is out there, but it's in unlikely places. Actually, that's not true at all. The truth lies somewhere in the middle. Quite simply, we shouldn't be calling for mob justice, as it diminishes the meaning of the actual court's justice system. I've asked a few people a question over the past couple months, and I would ask in the comments below if you can try and answer. Why do you want to believe the world is as bad as you're being told? What if it's better? That's the end of the article. But it's important, again, that people realize that I've remained silent and quiet for so long because I don't know how to go about asking people questions. The internet, be it Facebook or Twitter, is the wrong place to try and start these conversations. Doesn't matter where you operate from, what position of fact that you come from. The constant shouting down and not understanding what is actually happening. You know, the silencing of people is what has gotten me to speak up. Like, people don't want you to say things. They want to quiet you, which I understand. Like I said in this article, I know that people are operating from a good place, but the problem is when you extend these powers to people, now the federal government, to take certain speech rights away, when that comes back around on you, that's the problem. Because right now you're fighting for something that you believe is going to help bring the world together, but it will divide you. We've already seen it. And like I said, I encourage people to reach out. You know, if you follow me on Twitter, if you follow me wherever, you know, reach out through a direct message, leave a comment in the video and down below. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are. And I encourage people, you know, look at things, step back. Don't look at things as who the president is or who the president may be. Look at politician A, politician B. Look at what's going on objectively rather than who the people are personally. I know that's hard, but it's something I've tried to do, to really understand what it is I hate about certain things and understand where that opposition is coming from. It's helped me learn so much. Thank you guys for humoring me. Thank you for watching. More videos are coming, so like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the little bell. Be notified when I post a new video. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you.